Flask is a lightweight web framework for Python, which is easy but powerful. We can create web applications and APIs using Flask. So if you know Python and want to build web applications or API, this video is for you. In this short video, I will try to cover all the basic stuffs of Flask, and I will also provide notes so that you can revise your concept. So without further delay, let's get started.
Okay, I just opened my Git based terminal. You can open any kind of terminal which you have in your PC, and on the another side I just created a note for you guys, and I will follow this note along with this video, and I will pin this note in the description of this video, so you can revise this note whenever you forget anything. Okay, fine. Now I am in my root directory, and now I will change the directory to desktop. Okay, fine. Now I will make a directory. The syntax will be make dir flask python. Okay, fine. Now I will open this folder in my VS Code. For this, the syntax will be code and flask python. Now we can see in my VS Code our Flask Python folder is opened. Now we can continue our video. First of all, we will see the basic setup of Conda environment. Then we will understand everything about name variable, the ins and out of name variable. Then we will understand how to set up Flask app, and we will understand different ways and types of API route. This is our main fundamental purpose of this video. Okay, fine. Our first prerequisite for this video, that will be you have to install Anaconda in your PC for our Conda environment. I just want to tell you that our main purpose for this video is to teach you the basics of Flask, not to teach you the installation process of Anaconda. So you just need to install Anaconda in case if you not have Anaconda in your PC. I will put a video about this topic in the description. Okay, fine. At first we have to know why we actually need Conda environment. In all of my project, I usually use Conda for my Python project. So I will show you why I actually use Conda for my Python project. Let's suppose this is my PC, and in this PC I install Anaconda. So I can say that in my PC I have Conda environment set up. Fine. I can create Python project in my PC. If I have Anaconda set up in my PC, I can create Python project in my PC. First of all, we can say that Conda helps us to create Python project. Okay, fine. So we can say this is our PC, and in my PC we have two Python project. This is project 1, this is project 1, and this is project 2. Fine. In my project 1, I need A package and B package. If I have to give an example, that if you create a calculator app, you need some kind of package, some kind of library. If you create another kind of project, you need another kind of package, another kind of library. We can say that. So for our project 1, we need A and B kind of package, and for our project 2, we need A, C, D. Okay. Conda environment helps us to separate our project. First of all, Conda environment helps us to separate our project. If I want to run project 1, I just have to install A and B package. If I have to run project 2, I just have to run A, C, D package. Let's assume if I have to run project 1, and if I have to run project 1 and C and D package also install, then our project 1 size will be bigger. Conda environment helps us to make our project separate. Each environment has its own set of package, so you avoid conflict between project. So we understand that we avoid conflict between project. Okay, and that's make it easier to manage dependency and ensure your project run smoothly. Fine. So we can summary that our project 1 and our project 1 can be run without installing the C&D package, so that our project 1 will be light size and it will be run faster. Okay, fine. Now we want to check that our Anaconda installation process have successful or not. So we can type conda version, and if we see this type of thing, conda 24 version, then we are good to go. Our Anaconda installation process has successfully executed. Okay, fine. Okay, now the second step will be we have to set up our shell to use conda. So we can open our shell. We can open our shell from here, and we can type a very basic command conda init. So it just set up our shell. It just set up our shell. Okay, fine. Okay, our step 2 is done. Now in step 3 we just need to install conda environment in our Flask Python folder. So why we need conda environment? We need conda environment to install Python, to install Flask. So we need conda environment for this reason, to manage packages or any kind of work. Okay, fine. So to do so, we just need to type a syntax which is conda create -p venv. So what this line does, I will explain you after a few seconds. Now we just need to type y. Okay. So what this line does, conda create -p venv. Conda create, just ignore this -p, just focus on this 3 word conda create venv. In venv folder, our conda environment is set up. Okay, in venv folder, so we can see in venv folder our conda environment is set up. In venv folder our conda environment is set up. Okay, fine. And /p represent that, /p allows you to specify the path where the environment should be created. /p flag allow you to specify the path where the environment should be created. So we can say that /p helps us, /p allow us to create conda environment in this venv folder. Okay, fine. Okay, so we just create our conda environment in this folder. Now we have to activate this conda environment. We have to activate this conda environment. So to do so, we can type conda activate ./venv, conda activate ./venv. So we can say that in which folder our conda environment is set up. In venv folder, not so, in venv folder. So what we say, the conda environment, conda activate, and we specify the path, and the path is in the venv folder, and the path is in the venv folder. / represent in the root directory venv folder. Okay, fine. I hope you understand every line. So after executing this line environment is activated. Okay, fine. So we can clear the terminal. Okay, now we just need to install Python in our environment. Okay, fine. We just need to install Python. So we can do by typing this syntax: conda install Python. Conda install Python. So if you type conda install Python, it will install the latest version of Python. It will install the latest version of Python. Okay, so we can install that. Okay, now we can see that our Python installation process is successful. Now we can check that if we can execute any Python code in our folder or not. Create a file app.py and just write a basic syntax: print hello world. Okay, fine, and just execute this file Python to execute Python app.py. So we can see that hello world is printed. So we can say that our Python installation process is successful. Okay, fine. Okay, now I just want to tell the purpose of requirements.txt file. You might have seen the requirement.txt file in many Python projects. Now I will tell you why we actually need requirement.txt file. Okay, a requirement.txt file is essential for managing dependency in our Python project. It lists all the packages our project depends on and making it easy to install them with a single click. Fine. So let's suppose we create a requirement.txt file. In this requirements.txt file, we can list all the package we need in our Flask Python project. So we can, for example, we can say we need Flask. We also need beautiful soap. I can type wrong syntax. Or we can we also might need selenium. So what I want to say that I just list all my packages which I want to use in my Flask Python. I just want to I can list all the packages with their specific version. So I can specify the version also. And if I list all the packages here with their specific version, I can install them with a single click, with a single syntax. I don't need to install them separately. I don't need to install Flask, then install beautiful soap, then install selenium. I can install every library with a single syntax, with a specific version, which ensure that if anyone who clone our project can set up the same environment with the exact version of the package we used, avoiding compatibility issue. So let's example, we create our Flask Python. With a specific version of 1.2.3 of Flask, and after 2 months your friend want to clone your project. After 2 months your friend want to clone your project. So if there are new version of Flask, he will install the new version. He will not know the exact version of your project. So it can create some compatibility issues. Okay, so what we can say that in requirement.txt file we can list all the packages with their specific version, and we can install them with a single syntax, and it also helps to it also helps to avoid compatibility issues. Okay, fine. I hope you understand it clearly. Okay, so in my project I just need Flask. So I just, in my requirement.txt, I just write it. So now how can I install Flask by using requirement.txt file? So it's quite easy. I just listed there pip install this syntax. So in my case there is only Flask. Okay, so if I just enter, it just install Flask. Okay, we just install Flask successfully. So we just understand the first part of our video. Now we will try to explain everything about name variable. So what is name variable? In Python, name variable is a special built-in variable that indicate the name of the current module. So I hope you understand it 20%, or if you not understand anything, haven't understand anything at all, so I will clearly try to explain it step by step. So first of all, in my app.py, I just write basic function, a basic hello world function, and in this hello world function I just write a simple statement which is hello world, and you can see that I use name variable. So how can I write this name variable? Underscore underscore name underscore underscore. So it is our very basic name variable. Okay, fine. And we also call this function which is called hello world. Now our main purpose is to call this hello world function. So if we call this hello world function, let's see what we get here. App.py. So we can clearly see that if you try to execute this file, we get hello world, and we get, for this name variable, we get main. So I can say that if I execute any file which have name variable, if I execute any file which has name variable, then it will print main. If I execute any file directly, if I execute this file, this app.py file directly, then in this file I have name variable, and this name variable, in this name variable we have main as a text. So if I create another file, so we can name it new.py, and we can just also print statement, can also print this statement. So if we execute new.py file, so let's see what we get. So Python new.py. So what we explained previously, we execute new.py file directly, so that in my name variable we have a text which is called, which is main. Okay, fine. Okay, I just create a new .py file and I will copy this syntax and just print it out. I just create a new .py file and I will copy this syntax, paste it here. I will explain it in detail way, so you don't need to worry about it. So first of all, what we did here, import app. We import app. App.py is import in new.py file. In app.py, everything of app.py we import in my new.py. Okay, fine. I hope it's fine. Now in here I just write a condition, if name equal main, then I will try to execute this statement. Okay, so for now I will try to comment out this line and try to execute this file. Okay, so how can I do so? I can do that by python new.py. So what we get hello from new. We get hello from new. So it is obvious that we execute new.py directly. We execute new.py directly. So in my name file, in my name variable, here is, we can say, in my name variable assigned with main. So main and main is equal, so that our if condition is true, and we can say that our print will be executed. Okay, fine. Now I will try to explain that if I import app here, and in this if condition I will try to call my app.helloworld function. I just import my app folder, and we can say that in my app folder, sorry, I just continuously saying folder, file, in my app.py folder I have hello world function, and I will just call it here in my new.py file. Okay, fine. So now what will happen now? In my hello world, if I print it hello world, and in my name variable previously when we execute the app.py directly, we get name. Now our main task is, if we import app.py and we call this hello world function indirectly, we not call this hello world function directly. Directly means if we execute this app.py folder, and in this app.py folder we have hello world, then we can say that it is direct call. If we call new.py, and in new.py we import app and we call hello world, this type of call we can say that this is indirect call. So if we execute that file, so python new.py, what we get here, so app.hello world, our name is main, our name variable is main. Okay, fine. In my app.hello world, so our all flow will be transmitted here, and in my print hello world will be printed. But previously when we execute name, we get main. Previously when we execute name directly from app.py, we get main. But in here we get app, we get our file name, we get our file name, we get this types of thing when we indirectly call anything, indirectly call app.hello world. So fine, when we indirectly call app.hello world or any function. So now print hello world new is printed. Okay, fine. If I comment out this line and I execute name.py file, I will request you to see the drama of execution. Okay, so I will now execute this python new.py file and see the execution drama. See, we get hello world.app, and then we again get hello world.app, and then we get hello from new. See, we import app, we import app, and we execute new.py. When we import anything, when we import anything, this will try to execute from this file. But I say, if we import anything from another file, first of all this will try to execute every line of the file. So because it is a function, it won't be execute for now. It is just a function definition. But in the hello world I call this function, so now it will execute. Previously this hello world is comment out, so it won't execute it. But for now, when I import app, the complete flow will be go here. First of all, in my when I type python new.py, my code execution flow will be here, and my code execution flow will be here. Import app, so import app, so it will look the app.py folder, and it will try to execute every line. So now it will execute hello world, and for that it execute hello world and for the name, because we call it, because we execute it from another file, so that we get app, and then our this flow will execute. Now let's see what is the use case of main, in which cases I can use name variable. Let's suppose I have to execute this print. I just need to execute this statement when I call this app.py directly. If I not call app.py directly, then it won't be executed. Okay, fine. If I call it for indirectly from any other file, I want that it could not execute for in that time. Okay, so in that case you can if a condition, if name variable equal main, that's mean if I call app.py file directly, then this will execute. So if I execute python new.py, then this print hi will not execute that time. So you can see that this print hi is not executed. But if I comment out and just execute new.py, then this hi is executed. So it limited the execution. So I hope you understand everything about name variable. Now we can proceed to our third step, which is basic Flask app setup. So for that we can delete this code of code and we can copy this code. We can just copy this code from here. You can just copy this code and paste here. I will explain every line of code, so that you can understand every steps. Okay, fine. So first of all, we just know that we previously install Flask. So we successfully install Flask and now we import Flask. Why we import Flask? Because our main target is to make a very basic Flask app where we can create our local server. By using this Flask app, we can create our local server and we can create some API route. Fine, very basic thing. And then we create our Flask app. We import our Flask from Flask. And we just import Flask, this Flask package, and from this Flask package we import Flask, which is capital letter. Fine. Now we create an object, of this Flask and assign that object in a variable which is called app. And how we can create an object? The thing we know that how can we create object, and we just need to assign the name variable in the Flask object as parameter. So because we have to know the name variable, so I previously explained about name variable. Okay, fine. So we just get the instance of Flask object. For 2 to 5 minutes you can ignore this line of code. I will explain it in a while, and for now I just comment out this line of code, and I can also comment out this line of code. And now you just need to focus that line, this line in this app.run, and I can also delete this bug.divide equal to true line. I will explain it in a while. So just focus in that app.run. So our Flask object instance assigned to a variable which is called app, and in app variable we have a method which is called run, and in this app.run method is called, and this will help us to create a server. This app.run will help us to create a server. So we can say that our Flask is helping us to create a server to communicate with external website, or we can say our internal website also. So we just actually do we just create an object of Flask, assign a in app, and in the app we have a method which is called run, and we call it, and this app.run will create a server for us. So if we clear our terminal for now, and we just execute our app.py folder, app.py file. So let's see what happened for now. So if we execute this line or execute this file, app.py, so you can see that running on HTTP 127.0.0.1.5000. So this actually means that we successfully create our server. We just successfully create our local server which is running on this URL, and this is the by default port. Okay, fine. So I hope you understand this line of code. So we can comment out. See? So we previously explained that why we give this types of code, that if name equal main, then I will execute this server, which actually says that if I directly execute this app.py file, then it will run my server. If I import this app.py in another file, then it should not run my server. Okay, this line of code, this condition ensure that our if I execute app.py file directly, then our server should be start. Okay, fine. Okay, in these three lines of code sure how we can create route in our Flask app. By using these types of syntax, we can write API route. In here we just write a slash route, which define if anyone trigger in my slash route, this hello world return. So if I just stop my server and just rerun my server, then let's see what's happened now. So python app.py and run my server, we can see that we see the previous things. But now if we click here, we get a response hello world. We get a response hello world, which basically says that if anyone trigger on the slash route means this route. We can also define any other types of route which we explain later. after a few while. But for now, if anyone just trigger on the slash route means this route, this URL, if anyone trigger in this URL, this syntax or this text will appear, okay, which we define here, that if anyone trigger slash, then this thing will happen. Now I just want to change the text. Hello world, hi, I am Rakib. I just want to change the text for now. Okay, so if I change the text for now, let's see if I reload my browser, if there is anything change. I can see that there is no change here. There is no change here. I still see hello world, but I change in my code. To see these changes, we have to stop my server and then again run python app.py, again run, and then if I reload my server, reload my browser, then you can see that I can see my changes. Okay, and then I again delete this line, or I can say I changes in my code and reload my browser. I still not see the changes. To see the changes, I have to stop my server and then again run. So these types of thing, this run, stop server is not so much feasible. So to solve these types of thing, to solve this problem, we use this syntax called bug true, or what was that, debug true, capital letter. So debug true. So debug true, we just give debug true, and if we just run our server now, python app.py, then we see that our changes appear, and if we again did some changes, you see that our server again restart. Now our server restarting with it. So we reload, then we can see that our changes. So for this line, we don't need to stop and again restart the server. Line of code solve this problem. Okay, fine. I hope you understand this code. So I can also define other route here. I can also define other route here, other types of route. What we can say, I can define slash Rakib route. Hello, I can't, my server is just terminated because there is error. What is the error? It say that this function and another route function name could not match. If it match, then our code will be break down. Okay, fine. So we must keep in our mind that if we write another route, then this another route function name should be different from the previous one. So hello, so we just give a different function name and run our server python app.py. So we just write a route which is called /Rakib. So how can we go here? We just need to give /Rakib. We give /Rakib and we give some types of changes here. We can the changes in my /Rakib route. I have hello world, and in my /route, go up in our /route, you can see problem here. Our /Rakib route, we go our Rakib route. So we are in my /route. So we see our response, which is hello world and random types of text. Okay, fine. So you can define any number of route want. Try to so you can create any number of route you want. Okay, fine. Now if you want to change something, if you want to change or if you want to customize something, which we can say, if you want to change our port, if we want to change our port, we can also change here. We can also change here by giving port well 8080. You can give any port you want, any free port you want. So you can give port. You can also give a host. In here you see that our host is 127.0.0.1, which actually represent the local host. It actually represents the local host. And you can also give 0.0.0, which actually tell that our Flask app is accessible by any IP address. If this IP address or this host means that our Flask app is accessible in our local device. If we give 0.0.0, then it will be accessible from any IP address. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. I hope you understand how we can create a very basic Flask app. Now, this our final step, where we will try to explain you how we can write different types of API route. So in this type, we'll try to explain how can we create GET request, how can we create POST request. We will understand what is params, how can we send data using params, how can we send data using query parameter. Then we will conclude our this. Okay, fine. Now let's understand what is this GET request or what is this GET method, we can say. So in our HTTP protocol, or we can say that we can simply say that if we trigger in this route, we get a response. If we trigger in this route, we get a response. Fine. So these types of thing, we can call this as GET method or GET types of request. We can simply say that. Just can simply say that we trigger in this route and we get response, and these types of thing called GET request. Okay, and in this GET request we get some resources. So in that case, we trigger in this URL, we trigger in request and we get some resources which is in this case hello world is in. If we see that in this URL we trigger in this URL and we get this beautiful this web page. So this is the resources. Fine. So when we call a get request, we get some resources. And what is post request? What is post request? For post request, we post some data, get some resources. For example, we can take example for when we try to log in Facebook. When we try to log in Facebook, we have to enter our email, our mobile number, and our password. So we post some data. Okay. Then if our email and password is verified with our original email and password, then we are allowed to get into our original account. Fine. So we get our resources when we post data. Fine. Then we will see how can we. So first of all, we see that we post data and get resources. This is one type of way. And we can also send data using get request by using params. We are not using post request. We are not using post anything. We are just using get request. But still we are sending some data. But still we are sending some data using params. And we can also send some data using query parameter. Okay, fine. So now we can deep dive these methods. Okay, fine. So first of all, let's see how can we create a very basic get request, or you can say API route. So we previously explained, we already explained it. So you can tell me where you explained that. So, you see these three lines. These three lines actually we just write a get request. You can see that we trigger in this slash route and we get a response. We trigger in slash route and we get. So in this scenario, you can see that when we trigger in any request and we get some resources, we haven't post any data. So in that case, you can call it get request. Okay. So you can also write it in this way, where you can define the method also. So in here you doesn't define the method. You can, if you don't define the method, it is still okay. It won't show you any error. But you can also define the method. You can also define the method. Okay, you can also define the method. So anyone can understand your code where you just tell that they get request. Okay. Now we just need to know what is params and how can we send params with request. Okay. So we just copy this code and paste it here, and I will explain every piece of code so that you understand everything about params, every basic things about params. So what is actually params? Params is a dynamic data. Params is a dynamic data which is sent with our request URL. Params is a dynamic data which is sent with our request. So you can see that this type of structure, we haven't faced this type of structure yet, but when we see this type of structure, this type of bracket, then we can say that we are sending params with request. When we see this type of structure, this type of bracket types of structure, then we can say that we are sending params with our request. Okay, and we will send it here. So I can show you in here that how can we actually send params. So I just have to write my host URL. So I can say that it is localhost colon 3000 slash, and you can name anything. I just name it new page, or you can say new params. You can name anything, any types of URL. What is actually here, you just give it here. Okay, now you can send params here. You can send params here. It can be anything, it can be any data, so that we accept this data and perform any types of operation. So what I just say, I can send dynamic data. I can send dynamic data with my request and perform any type of operation with this dynamic data, and this dynamic data is called params. This dynamic data is called params. And how can we define the structure? By this bracket. Okay, I hope you understand that. Okay, we can send params. Now we have to accept the params. We can give any name here. You can give A, you can give A, you can give B, you can give any name here. I just name it score. You can give any name here, and you have to accept the value which we are sent here, which we are sent here dynamically. You have to accept the value in this function as parameter. So we can say that what data we are sending here as params, we are receiving this data as parameter in this function. Okay, so we receive the params data in this function parameter, and we can perform any types of calculation here. You can perform any types of calculation here. You can increase it, or you can perform any types of operation here. You can assign any value. You can perform any types of operation, and then you send the response here. You can send the response here. So now we just want to test our route, our API. So you can also test it from here, or you can test it using Thunder client. You can use it using Thunder client. So Thunder client is used for testing our API. Thunder client is used for testing our API. So how can you install Thunder client? You can install from VS Code extension. So you can just install Thunder client from here. So Thunder client is lightweight REST API client for VS Code. So you can test your API by using Thunder client. So we can also use Postman. Okay. So after installing this Thunder client, you can use it from here. You can use it from here, Thunder client. So we can say that this is our host URL. This is our host URL, and new params is our route name. New params is our route name, and we can send any type of dynamic data. It can be a string, it can be integer, it can be anything. Okay, so our server is still running, so we can test it by sending. Okay, we just received our response, So what we get as response, so you can see that we are trying to receive a response, welcome to new params page, and this score, this params will be received by this function, and we just show it here. Okay, so we can see that we get our response here. So but we just need to know that this score, this params is sending as a string type of value. What we sent here, 3242134, this value is a string types of value. This thing is a string type of value. So when we have to define that, we just want to send integer type of value as params. If we don't give anything, here, it will be by default sent as string type of value, but we just want to send as integer type of value, so we can define it here int and give colon. So we can also perform n types of operation. So we can perform a score equal a score plus 1. We can perform n types of operation here. So if we send a dynamic value 32, because it is a string type of, it is a integer type of value which we define here, so when we send the request, we get 33. Why we get 33? Because we just perform a operation here, and we just, this score is integer, and we convert it as a string, and just we return our response. But if we not defined int here, so you can see if we send a request, we get a error. So what we get as error? Type error, can only concatenate string, because this score is string type of value and this one is a integer type of value, so we can only concatenate, we can only add integer and integer, string and string, so that we get a error. So if we just change one, if we change one as string, so we just make one as string, and if we send our request, so you can see that we get 321, because 3 is in score, we send 32 as string, and 1 is also a string. So when we concatenate this string, so we get 321 as our response here, 321 as our response here. Okay, now we just need to know what is query parameter and why we actually need it. So query parameter is same as params. We can say that query parameter is same as params, but using query parameter you can send multiple dynamic value, by using query parameter. So here in params you can see that, we send dynamic value here. Why? But using query parameter, you just, the structure will be, you have to give a question mark, you just have to give a question mark. In params you just give slash and give your dynamic data, but in query parameter you just have to give a question mark. Okay, first of all you have to understand that you just have to give a question mark here. Okay, and this John is a dynamic value. and we assigned this dynamic value in a variable which is called name. Here we see that there is a value. We just zoom it for better understanding. So you see that we assign John in name variable, we assign 30 in age variable. So you can send multiple query parameter by using this way. You can send multiple dynamic value using query parameter, and you can also assign this value, this dynamic value, in a variable which is quite structured, which is structured types of way. In params you just sending it, it is not structured, but using query parameter you can structurally send dynamic data with request. I hope you understand the basic difference with query parameter and params. Okay, now we just need, first of all, we are sending this value. When we are using params, we just accept this value as parameter. But in query parameter case, we just need a package, or we can say a method from Flask for receiving those value. We just need request for receiving this name variable value, this age variable value. I hope you understand. And this JSONify is used for JSON types of response. Usually we send response in JSON data type. In our video we just sent response as a string. We just send response as a string. But in most of the scenario we send response in JSON data type. So by using JSONify we can send JSON types of response. I hope you understand. So we just import request and JSONify from Flask. We not need to install request and JSONify separately. We can import the request and JSONify from Flask. It is quite good here. So we don't need to install request and JSONify separately. So now we just copy this code and paste it here, and I will explain it in a better way. Okay, fine. So I just have to keep the proper indentation here. Okay, now you can see that we just write a method name, a route name, which is called new hyphen query. We just define a route name. You can give anything. I hope you just know it better. So in query parameter we have to accept this name as variable and this age as variable, and we assign dynamic value John. In name we assign dynamic value 30 in age. So we just need to accept those value. So for accepting those value, the syntax will be this: request dot arguments dot get. We just need to get this query parameter value, which is called name, and another is called age. If we want to get, if there is another query parameter, we just define it here. you just define it here. So if I want to send another query parameter, you just need so extra, I just define a variable name which is extra. The syntax will be request arguments dot get, and this extra will be same as this variable name. This variable name and this name have to be same. This name and this name have to be same. This age and this age have to be same. The spelling have to be same. Otherwise we can't get the perfect dynamic data. Okay, so by using JSONify you can send JSON types of response. So we know how can we send JSON types of response. You can also give extra value, like you can also send message which can be success. You can also send a status code. You can also send status code. You can send any types of value. Yeah, a status code as 200. You also send name. You also send age. Now we just want. I just comment out extra. How can we actually get this, or how can we just send this request? So I just previously write it that HTTP our host URL name and our route name new query, our route name new query. So route name new query, and we give a question mark, and dynamic value is Rakib, and assign this in name. Dynamic value is 12 and assign in age, and I just need to delete it for now. So I just need to start my server for getting the response. Python app.py. So I just start my server, and if I send the request I get the perfect response. So in age I get my response 12, message is success, name is Rakib, and the status code is 200. Okay, fine. So you can also send extra query parameter here. So extra equal, you can give anything. So I can give extra. So I assign dynamic value Hassan in extra variable. So I just have to receive it from here in this way. So I just receive it, and I can also show this. You can give anything as my key value. This is our key value, this is our key, and this is our value. In JSON types of response we have a key which is message, and this is the value. So you can give any types of key here. So I can give anything. Just give anything, and I just want to accept extra. Okay, fine. So I just need to restart my server. Python app.py. So if I trigger this, so I just get my response. In anything I get Hassan. So you can send any number of query parameter you want. Okay, so I hope you understand query parameter in detailed way. So now we can move to the next part. Okay, now we just have to understand what is post route. So we previously understand the basic difference between the post route and the get route. In the post route we send data in body. So if we want to explain that, it is our route, so we can send data in our body part. So we can see that this is our body. So we can send JSON types of data, XML types of data, text data, form encode data, GraphQL data, binary data. We can send any types of data in the body part. So when we send data in body part, then in that case we use post route. Okay, fine. If we don't have to send data in our body part, then we use our get route. I hope you understand that. Now let's see what we want to do here. We just define the methods here. So we are using post route and just give a name of the route. Okay, and just give a function name. Okay, so because we are using post route, it is sure that we will send data in our body part. Because we are using post route, it is sure that we will send data in our body part. So let's suppose, first of all, we just write our route name. So in my case, this is test post. So I just write test post, and in my body part I can send JSON type of data. I can send JSON type of data. So suppose I am sending the key value as a, and in the a value I am sending, let's suppose 1 2 3, let's suppose. Okay, fine. Now so I can also send in this way. I can send in this way. Then I can send b as key and also send 1 2 3. Okay, fine. So I am sending a body which is a JSON types of data, and in the JSON types of data the key is a and sending value is 1 2 3, and in b sending value is 1 2 3. Okay, now by using request we can get the JSON types of data. We can get the JSON object. We can get this JSON object by using request. So previously we used request for getting the query parameter value. Now we are using request for getting the data as JSON object. Okay, fine. Now we have to convert the JSON object in data. We have JSON object. Now we have to convert the data in dictionary. We have to convert the data in dictionary because we have to access the a value. We have to access the a key value, and we have to access the b key value. So for that reason we convert I convert the data, the JSON object, into a dictionary, and I just typecast it to dictionary. So it is a dictionary type of data. So now I can access the a value by using this syntax dict data and our third bracket and our key value. Here our key value is a. Okay, fine. Now in my a value, I just have 1 2 3. In my a value I just have 1 2 3. Okay, in my b value I just have 1 2 3. Okay, so if I want to send a JSON response, so I am just checking if a value not equal to b value, then I can send JSON types of response, which is if a and b is not same. Here a and b is same. If a and b is not same, then we can send a message in this way. It is a JSON types of data where key is error and the message is value mismatch. Okay, and we can also send a status code in this way. We can send the status code in this way. Usually we send the status code in this way. Okay, fine. Now if this condition is not true, then our this a value and b value is equal, so we can send the response here. So because we are sending string types of value, so if we concatenate that, we will get what? We will get 1 to 3 and 1 to 3. See that we get the value of a and we get the value of b. In a value we have 1 to 3, which is string type of data. In b we have string type of data. If a and b is not match, then we send an error message. If match, then we send the JSON response, and we can also send the status code also. So we can send the status code also. So in sum we will receive 1 to 3 and 1 to 3, which will be concatenated. Okay, fine. So we have to start our server. So how can we start our server? Python app.py. Fine. So we start our server, and if I send the request, I get my response, which is 1 to 3 and 1 to 3. Okay, fine. So if I want to send integer types of data, I have to do this. So I can send integer types of data. Now in this case I get the sum response. Yes. Okay, fine. So I hope that this post types of route or post types of request, we first of all we get the data, we get the body, and we perform our logic, we perform our operation. Okay, hope that you understand all the topic clearly and we have a better understanding about all the topic. And if you have any types of query, feel free to ask me, and I will try my level best to solve all types of problem. So don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much.